Ladies and gentlemen, today I am going to tell you a success plan that can change your life in just 28 days. Not 28 years, not 28 months, 28 days. And before you think, Jack, this sounds like magic, let me tell you, yes, it is magic. But the magician is you. People always ask me, Jack, what is the secret of success? The answer is simple: clarity and action. Not talent, not luck, not perfect timing. Clarity and action. The moment you decide to change, the world starts moving with you. The problem is, many people wait for a perfect moment. My friends, if you wait for the perfect moment, only mosquitoes will succeed before you. They don't wait for anything. They see an opportunity. They take it, usually your arm. So today, we begin a 28-day success plan. And the first 5 days are the most important. These 5 days are not about changing your life. They are about waking you up from the comfortable coma you've been living in. Yes, comfortable coma. You know that feeling. You're alive, but nothing exciting is happening, except maybe a new Netflix recommendation. Day 1 is very simple. You must stop lying to yourself. If you say, I'm going to start tomorrow, congratulations, you already failed today. Today you ask one question: what is blocking me? Not who, not your parents, not your boss, not your cat who steals your chair. You, your habits, your distractions, your fear. You write them down. When you see the problem on paper, it becomes small. When it stays in your head, it becomes a monster. Day 2, we clean the mental desk. Many people think success comes from doing more. Actually, no. Success comes from removing the nonsense. Look at your life. Too many tabs open in your brain. You are like a browser with 49 windows open, and the music is playing, but you don't know where it's coming from. Close some tabs. Remove one useless habit. Maybe it's scrolling for 1 hour. Maybe it's complaining for 10 minutes. Maybe it's thinking your ex will text back. No, they won't. Free your brain. Day 3, you clarify your direction. You don't need a 10-year plan. You need a 28-day target. Something simple. Something that scares you just a little. If your goal doesn't scare you, it is not a goal, it is a picnic. And nobody becomes successful from picnics. Now let me tell you a story. When I started Alibaba, I didn't have money. I didn't have experience. I didn't even have a computer. I only had one thing: clarity. I knew what I wanted: to show the world that a Chinese company could become global. People laughed. They said, Jack, you? Impossible. And I said, exactly. Impossible is usually a sign that you're going in the right direction. Day 4 is commitment day. Many people have goals, but goals without commitment are like noodles without soup. They look nice, but taste like disappointment. Commitment means you show up even when you don't feel like it. Success is not built on excitement. It is built on tired days, boring days, disciplined days. You tell yourself, for the next 28 days, I will not negotiate with myself. Because if you negotiate with the lazy version of you, you will lose. Day 5 is your first checkpoint. Not to judge yourself, but to understand yourself. What did you learn in these first days? What distracted you? What made you excited? What scared you? You do this because self-awareness is the strongest weapon. You cannot win a game if you don't know who you are as a player. So these 5 days, remember 3 rules. First, be brutally honest with yourself. Second, remove the old before adding the new. Third, make a clear, scary, simple goal. And if you can do just this, just 5 days, you are already different from 90% of people. Not because you are smarter, not because you are richer, but because you finally moved. Success starts the moment you stop waiting. When you wake up tomorrow, tell yourself, today, I'm a little better than yesterday, and that is enough to change my life. This is the beginning of the 28-day journey. Get ready. The real work starts now. Now that you've finished the first 5 days, something real has already happened. You proved to yourself that you can start. That alone puts you ahead of most people, because many people never even take the first step. But starting is not enough. Now we enter the part where most people struggle, the foundation stage. These next days, from 6 to 11, are where life starts testing you a little. Not in big dramatic ways, but in small, annoying, everyday ways. You'll wake up late one day. You'll feel tired another day. Someone will waste your time. Your motivation will drop. Your mind will say, it's fine to skip today. And this is exactly where success is born. In the moments when the world around you feels normal, but you choose something better. Day 6 is about understanding yourself. Truly understanding yourself, not the version you imagine. Most people know what they hate, but they don't know what they're good at. Maybe you're good at staying calm. Maybe you're good at solving problems. Maybe you're good at learning fast or finishing what you start. These things don't look special to you because you see them every day, but they are your weapons. When everything becomes difficult later, these are the strengths that will help you keep going. Day 7 is about weaknesses. This is uncomfortable but necessary. Maybe you procrastinate. Maybe you get distracted by your phone every 5 minutes. Maybe you doubt yourself. Maybe you care too much about how people see you. Everyone has something. Writing your weaknesses doesn't make you weak, it makes you aware. And awareness is power. You can't fix what you never acknowledge. Day 8 is the routine day. And routines matter because life is unpredictable. Some days you wake up motivated. Some days you wake up annoyed. Some days you wake up feeling like you fought a tiger in your sleep. But a simple routine, even 10 minutes a day, gives your mind stability. Maybe you start your morning with silence, or stretching, or writing down your day. Maybe before sleeping you reflect for 2 minutes. These small things are the difference between a day that moves you forward and a day that controls you. Day 9 introduces the idea of small wins. This is important because most people expect big results too quickly. They want to change everything in 1 week. Life doesn't work like that. Success feels slow at the beginning, but one small win every day, just one, starts building confidence. It could be finishing a task you've been delaying, cleaning something, learning one useful thing, doing 20 minutes of deep work. These small wins create progress you can feel. And when you feel progress, everything becomes easier. Day 10 is about discipline. But discipline is not being harsh on yourself. It's being honest with yourself. It's choosing what matters over what is comfortable. It's deciding that even if you are tired, frustrated, distracted, or busy, you will still do something for your goal. It doesn't have to be huge. It just has to happen. Real discipline is built by people who decide, even on my worst day, I will do a little. Day 11 is reflection. You look back at days 6 to 10 and ask yourself simple questions. What helped me? What distracted me? What can I improve tomorrow? This is not about judging yourself. It's about understanding yourself. Because the more you understand yourself, the stronger you become. Success is not built on perfection. It is built on awareness. You learn, you adjust, you grow. So tomorrow, when you wake up, tell yourself, I don't need to be perfect. I just need to keep going. That's the real foundation of success. And once this part becomes natural to you, the next stage will push you into action and growth like never before. You've survived the first 11 days, and now you enter the part where the real transformation begins. Not the transformation people can see, the transformation happening inside your thinking. These next days might feel uncomfortable, but that's exactly how you know you're growing. Day 12 is about doing the hard thing first. Every morning, pick the task you fear, the task you avoid, the task you've been running from, and do that one first. Because when you win over fear in the morning, it becomes difficult for the world to defeat you later in the day. Day 13 is accepting failures without stopping. People fail and disappear for weeks, but successful people fail and show up again the next day. One mistake is not the end. It's just data. You learn, you adjust, you continue. Failure is not your enemy. Quitting is. Day 14 is mastering your environment. Look around you, your room, your desk, your digital space. These things influence you more than you realize. Clean one thing today, organize one thing, remove one distraction. Your environment should support your success, not fight against it. Day 15 is about courage. Not the big dramatic courage, the small kind. The courage to say no, the courage to focus, the courage to stand up for your time. If you don't protect your time, you lose your future, and nobody will protect it for you. Day 16 is asking one big question. Who am I doing this for? Yourself? Your family? Your future? A dream? A promise? When you know the answer, discipline becomes easier, motivation becomes stronger. Purpose is the fuel that does not run out. Day 17 is the reset day. Everyone burns out a little. Everyone feels tired. Instead of stopping everything, you reset. Take 1 hour off, breathe, reflect, realign. Successful people don't avoid exhaustion. They manage it before it breaks them. Let me tell you the truth. In my early years, I wasn't smarter than anyone. I wasn't faster. I didn't have better opportunities. But I learned to show up even when I didn't feel like it. To continue even when things didn't work. To stay calm when I wanted to give up. That consistency changed everything. These days, teach you that success is not loud. It doesn't shout, it whispers. And those who listen, grow. Tomorrow, remind yourself, I don't need to be perfect. I need to be present. By now, you've built honesty, clarity, discipline, and consistency. You've faced fear, dealt with distractions, and proved to yourself that you can keep going even when things feel ordinary. Now, the next 6 days are about growth, not just showing up, but becoming stronger, smarter, and more capable. Day 18 is learning something new every day, not to impress anyone, not to appear smart, but to stretch your mind a little. Read a chapter, watch a tutorial, listen to someone who has been where you want to go. Knowledge compounds, but only if you take it seriously and apply it. Day 19 is practice. Don't just learn, do. Skills are built in action, not theory. Maybe you're learning communication, maybe leadership, maybe coding. Whatever it is, spend at least 30 minutes applying it today. Remember, you can read 100 books, but if you don't practice, you remain the same person. Day 20 is reflection on your growth. Ask yourself, what did I learn that I can actually use? Awareness alone doesn't help. Action with awareness does. Write it down. Make a small plan. Use it tomorrow. Day 21 is courage again. But this time, it's the courage to fail publicly. To risk mistakes in front of others. Growth doesn't happen in secret. Growth happens when you step into situations that feel bigger than you, when you risk embarrassment, when you risk rejection. Day 22 is building confidence through small victories. Confidence isn't built by imagining it, it's built by proving to yourself repeatedly that you can handle challenges. Maybe you make one difficult call. Maybe you finish a tough project. Maybe you speak your opinion when you want to stay silent. Each win, however small, strengthens you. Day 23 is the reminder that skill alone is not enough. Mindset is everything. You can know everything and still fail if you don't believe you can take the next step. Believe that every failure, every awkward moment, every small action is building you into someone who can succeed. Let me tell you the truth. When Alibaba was small, we made countless mistakes. People laughed. Investors refused. Employees quit. Every day felt risky. But we kept learning, practicing, reflecting, and showing up. Every small effort added up. Every mistake taught us something. And that is how skill becomes power. These 6 days are about upgrading yourself. Not magically becoming someone else, but becoming the best version of yourself today and then tomorrow. It's about moving from surviving to thriving. From repeating the old patterns to building new habits. From reacting to life to shaping life. So tomorrow, remind yourself, I am learning. I am practicing. I am growing. And no small setback can stop me. When you finish these days, you'll feel it. A new energy, a new confidence, and a new awareness that you are capable of far more than you thought. Now you've reached the final stage of your 28-day journey. By now, you've built clarity, discipline, consistency, courage, and growth. You've faced fear, practiced skills, and proven to yourself that you can keep going when most people quit. These last 5 days are about turning all of that into momentum. The kind that propels you forward long after this month ends. Day 24 is about connecting effort to opportunity. Look around you. Every small action you've done in the past weeks is now creating openings. Maybe it's a skill you practiced, a habit you built, or a conversation you had. Opportunities rarely appear out of nowhere. They appear for the person who shows up consistently, who can handle them, and who is ready. Your effort is what makes opportunities visible. Day 25 is the power of review. Sit down and go through everything you've done in the past 3 weeks. Celebrate wins, no matter how small. Identify patterns that helped, patterns that slowed you. Don't judge, observe. Understanding what works for you is like discovering a map of your own life. Day 26 is about focus. You've learned routines, skills, and discipline. Now you decide what truly matters. You cut out what doesn't help. You double down on what moves you forward. Focus transforms energy into results. Without focus, momentum scatters and disappears. Day 27 is preparing the next cycle. This 28-day plan doesn't end here. The real success comes from repetition. Ask yourself, what will I continue? What will I improve? What will I discard? Set up the next 28-day loop, stronger, smarter, and more precise. The power of habit compounds. The power of reflection multiplies. Day 28 is finishing strong, but not just finishing. Today is about claiming what you've built. Look at yourself and acknowledge, I started, I endured, I grew, I am ready for more. Don't wait for external validation. The most powerful acknowledgement comes from within. Let me tell you the truth. When I built Alibaba, there were times I felt exhausted, defeated, even hopeless. But I never ignored progress. I measured small wins, repeated habits, refined routines, and kept moving. That is why today, I know that consistent effort, applied with focus and courage, always pays off, often in ways you cannot predict. These last 5 days are your momentum stage. Everything you've done, honesty, discipline, small wins, learning, courage, reflection, comes together now. You are no longer the same person who started 28 days ago. You have energy, you have direction, you have confidence, and momentum always attracts opportunity. So tomorrow, wake up and say, I am ready. I am capable. I am unstoppable. My journey continues, and remember this. Success is not about a single moment. It is about the cycle you create. Today you finish 28 days. Tomorrow you begin again, stronger and wiser. Keep this cycle going, and you will never stop growing. Your 28-day journey doesn't end here. It begins a lifetime of progress. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends.
Do you know what nobody is talking about right now? It's not China's growth. It's not India's borders. It's not the headlines about trade wars or tariffs. It's something far more powerful. Something quiet. Something invisible. A deal that could change the balance of power in Asia and the world forever. For decades, China and India were portrayed as rivals. Governments clashed. Media painted them as enemies. Economies competed. Everyone assumed conflict was inevitable. But the truth is completely different. Behind the cameras, behind closed doors, something extraordinary is happening. Agreements are being signed. Supply chains are being connected. Technology projects are being coordinated. And when it is fully realized, this deal could redefine the rules of global trade, technology, and influence. Look at the last 10 years. India used to depend on foreign technology, foreign manufacturing, foreign capital. Today it is building its own digital networks, creating local manufacturing hubs, investing in AI and semiconductors. China, meanwhile, is quietly looking for stability, for markets, for partners that can strengthen its global strategy. And somehow these two nations, historical rivals, are finding alignment where everyone expects rivalry. You see, when everyone assumes rivalry, the smartest players find alignment. When the world focuses on conflict, the real moves are happening in silence. Factories, tech parks, logistics, energy distribution, everything is being coordinated in ways that are invisible to the public eye. While the headlines scream about disputes, the foundation for a new power dynamic is quietly being laid, and it's working. China brings experience, capital, and infrastructure. India brings talent, youth, and a fast-growing tech sector. Together, they are forming a silent partnership that shifts influence from the West to Asia, from old hierarchies to a new emerging order. The consequences are enormous. Every business, every investor, every nation paying attention will feel the ripple effects. And yes, this could affect your job, the apps you use, even the products on your shelf. India's tech exports are exploding. Its startup ecosystem is booming. Chinese investors are looking for stability and new opportunities. Key projects in energy, digital infrastructure, and AI are already underway. Rare earth supply chains, previously dominated by China, are being quietly shared with Indian partners. New semiconductor and battery deals are being discussed, trade corridors are being upgraded, and all this happens while the world thinks the nations are at odds. But here's what makes it so powerful. Neither China nor India wants to dominate the other. Neither wants to replace anyone. They are building a new kind of strength, a synergy that is flexible, adaptive, and unstoppable. And the world will only realize its significance years from now when it is too late to counter it. Think about it. While the United States focuses on domestic politics, Europe worries about inflation, and smaller nations try to pick sides. China and India are quietly building a foundation of power that cannot be ignored. Every strategic investment, every joint project, every new alliance strengthens the deal, and the speed of execution is unlike anything the world has ever seen. Look at the numbers. India's GDP growth consistently outpaces most major economies. Its tech exports are rising faster than anyone predicted. Manufacturing hubs are emerging across India. Meanwhile, China's global investment strategy targets complementary regions, ensuring that this silent partnership strengthens both nations without public fanfare. And here's the subtle brilliance. The deal does not require headlines. There are no press conferences, no dramatic announcements. The world believes conflict dominates the region, but the real story is quiet, deliberate, and unstoppable. And the moment the world finally notices, the position of power will have already shifted. This is the moment that history will remember. A deal that nobody talks about. A partnership that changes the rules. A quiet revolution in Asia. And yet most people will never see it coming. Every trade agreement, every tech collaboration, every supply chain restructuring brings China and India closer. Every move strengthens the invisible bridge between them. And when the bridge is complete, it will redefine who controls technology, energy, trade, and influence across Asia and the world. The implications are enormous. Businesses will adjust, investors will shift, governments will reconsider alliances, and ordinary people, the ones who scroll past headlines, will be affected without even realizing why. Look closely. China and India have learned an important lesson. Conflict is costly. It drains resources, distracts from growth, and invites global scrutiny. Cooperation, when done quietly and strategically, multiplies power, and the world is only just beginning to see it. Factories are being built, ports are being upgraded, digital networks are being shared, energy corridors are being mapped, semiconductor research is being jointly discussed. And all of this is happening under the radar. The headlines focus on conflict. The world ignores the silent revolution. And that is the advantage these nations hold. India is young, ambitious, and hungry. China is experienced, capital-rich, and precise. Together, they are building something no one predicted. And when the world finally realizes it, the shift will be unstoppable. This is the new balance of power quietly forming in the shadows of global attention. Do not underestimate it. Do not dismiss it. This is history in motion. The deal nobody talks about is quietly rewriting the rules of global influence. And when it becomes obvious, the consequences will be felt everywhere. Trade, technology, finance, and geopolitics. The world will look back and wonder how it never saw it coming. But the truth is, it was always happening. Quietly, deliberately, strategically. For decades, everyone believed China and India would never cooperate. Rivalry was written into the headlines, into history books, into every political analysis. Border clashes, trade disputes, military posturing. This was the story everyone accepted. But here's the thing. Rivalry can create opportunity. Sometimes the fiercest competition plants the seeds of the strongest partnerships. Think about it. Conflict sharpens the mind. Rivalry reveals weaknesses. And when two nations have clashed, argued, and tested each other for decades, they know exactly what each can and cannot do. That knowledge, when used strategically, becomes power, and that's exactly what China and India are doing now. India learned from rivalry. It realized that constantly reacting to China's moves is a trap. If you follow blindly, you never control your own path. So India began building its own capabilities. AI, semiconductors, manufacturing hubs, energy independence, digital infrastructure, each step a countermeasure, each investment a long-term signal. And in parallel, China learned something equally critical. Absolute confrontation is costly. Pushing India too hard drains resources, invites global scrutiny, and risks creating instability where none should exist. So what do rivals do when they understand each other's strengths and limits? They find common ground. The borders that once divided them now become areas of calculated engagement. Trade routes that were blocked are now quietly optimized. Investments once withheld are now strategically considered. And suddenly, what looked like enemies becomes an invisible collaboration orchestrated with precision. You see, history repeats itself in patterns. Look at the greatest rivalries in business, in empires, in nations. Often the fiercest competitors become the most powerful allies, when survival and growth depend on it. China and India understood that fully. They realized that the world around them, Western powers, global supply chains, digital networks, is evolving rapidly. If they keep clashing openly, they lose. If they cooperate silently, they multiply their influence, and the results are already visible, even if most people don't notice. China invests in Indian infrastructure quietly. India allows certain Chinese tech collaborations in energy and logistics. They coordinate supply chains for rare minerals and manufacturing. They share knowledge in areas like AI and renewable energy. Each of these moves, invisible on the news, is deliberate. Each is calculated to create mutual strength without public acknowledgement. India, by its nature, benefits from rivalry. It has learned to move fast, adapt, and innovate under pressure. China, by its nature, benefits from strategic patience. Together they complement each other in a way the world has never anticipated. What seems impossible, the two largest nations in Asia, historical rivals, quietly collaborating, is in fact the most logical, most powerful move they could make. Think about this. Every time a new border tension appears in the media, every time trade disputes are reported, most analysts see conflict. But the real story is that these headlines are distractions. While the world reacts emotionally, the real strategy is quietly unfolding. Investments are being made, factories are being built, trade corridors are being strengthened. And by the time the public realizes, the partnership is already unstoppable. China and India's rivalry gave birth to discipline, innovation, and strategic thinking. India developed self-reliance and ingenuity. China developed patience and precision. And when these traits meet, they don't clash, they synchronize. That is why the secret deal, the one nobody talks about, is not just possible, it's inevitable. And let's not forget the stakes. The global economy is shifting. Technology leadership is changing hands. Supply chains are being redefined. Energy networks are being recalculated. And in the middle of all this, China and India are quietly positioning themselves as the central axis of the new world order. Every decision, every strategic move, every alignment reinforces this invisible bridge. Here's what makes it even more striking. The world still underestimates India. Analysts talk about China's strength, its global strategy, its technological advances. India, meanwhile, quietly grows, learns, and positions itself alongside China. The public sees rivalry, but the nations see opportunity. And that is why the next decade will surprise the world. So understand this, rivalry was not a barrier. Rivalry was the teacher. And the lesson it taught both China and India is simple. Cooperation in silence, when timed perfectly, is far more powerful than conflict in public. And today that lesson is being applied. The implications are enormous. Every tech company, every global investor, every nation watching Asia will feel the shift. Supply chains, energy flows, trade patterns, even geopolitical alliances, everything is subtly being recalibrated. And most importantly, it is happening without fanfare, without headlines, without public recognition. China and India's rivalry created the perfect conditions for this secret deal. The world saw two competitors. They saw conflict. They assumed the only path forward was tension and competition. But the nations themselves saw the opposite, alignment disguised as rivalry. And that is the genius, that is the power. In the next part, we will dive even deeper into the specific deals, technology exchanges, and trade partnerships that are currently shaping this unprecedented collaboration. You will see how factories, ports, energy corridors, and AI labs are quietly being aligned to create the most significant power shift in decades. But for now, remember this, history is rarely written in headlines. It is written in quiet, deliberate actions, and China and India are already writing it. While the world debates tariffs and headlines, China and India are quietly reshaping the global order. This isn't just diplomacy, it's a strategic realignment. Consider this, China has recently eased export restrictions on critical goods like rare earth magnets, fertilizers, and tunnel boring machines to India. This move isn't just a trade gesture, it's a calculated step to stabilize supply chains and foster deeper economic ties. But here's the catch. These actions are subtle, often going unnoticed by the global community, yet they carry profound implications. On the ground, Indian and Chinese companies are exploring joint ventures in electronics manufacturing. For instance, Indian firms like Dixon Technologies and Micromax are collaborating with Chinese companies such as HKC and Huaqin to produce components like display modules and circuit boards. These partnerships are not just about cost efficiency, they're about building resilience in supply chains and leveraging each other's strength. Moreover, India is ramping up its domestic capabilities. The Make in India initiative is gaining momentum, with the government addressing challenges like rare earth shortages through the National Critical Minerals Mission. This strategy aims to reduce dependency on external sources and secure essential resources for future technologies. Simultaneously, China is investing in India's infrastructure and technology sectors. These investments are not just about economic gain, they're about creating a symbiotic relationship that benefits both nations in the long term. Now you might be wondering, why does this matter to me? Well, these behind-the-scenes deals and partnerships are setting the stage for a new economic landscape. The products you use, the technologies you rely on, and the services you access are all part of this evolving ecosystem. Understanding these shifts can provide insights into the future of global trade and technology. As we continue to witness this unfolding narrative, it's clear that the China-India relationship is more than just a bilateral affair. It's a cornerstone in the emerging global order, one that will influence economies, industries, and lives worldwide. The world is about to realize something quietly monumental. While headlines shout about conflicts, tariffs, and political posturing, the real power shift is happening behind the scenes, and it will affect every corner of the globe. America still holds immense influence, but the center of gravity is moving. Asia, led by India and China, is quietly positioning itself as the engine of the next global order. India is rising, not by force, not by confrontation, but by strategy, technology, and vision. Factories are being built, ports upgraded, AI labs and semiconductor plants expanded. Supply chains are being reinforced in ways no one in the West notices. Meanwhile, China is ensuring its investments strengthen both stability and growth, quietly avoiding public drama while maximizing long-term leverage. Together, these nations are creating an axis of economic, technological, and geopolitical influence that will define the next decade. The consequences for the rest of the world are enormous. Companies that once relied entirely on China for manufacturing are diversifying to India. Investors seeking growth and stability are turning their eyes eastward. Global trade routes are being recalibrated. New technology hubs are emerging. And yet, most of the world is distracted, looking at daily headlines and assuming the old rules still apply. For America and Europe, this is a warning. Power is shifting not because of sudden wars or dramatic events, but because of quiet, deliberate strategy. Decisions made today in New Delhi and Beijing will define supply chains, tech leadership, and energy access for decades. The nations that once seemed too distant or too small to influence the global stage are now quietly crafting the rules. India's youth, talent, and innovation, combined with China's infrastructure, experience, and capital, create a synergy that is almost unstoppable. Policies, trade agreements, and partnerships are being executed quietly, methodically, and with precision. Every joint venture, every investment, every logistics plan adds another brick to a foundation that will support global influence far beyond what most analysts predict. And here's the subtle brilliance. The shift doesn't announce itself. There will be no fireworks, no immediate recognition. One day the world will wake up and realize that key decisions are no longer being made only in Washington or Brussels. They are being influenced from Asia through partnerships that were built quietly over years of strategic patience and careful planning. This is how global power moves in the modern era. Not with dramatic wars or headlines, but with collaboration, foresight, and execution. India and China have learned from rivalry and transformed it into cooperation. They are executing plans that will secure energy independence, technology leadership, and trade dominance. And as this happens, the world must adapt or risk being left behind. The next decade will be defined by those who recognize this shift early, by those who understand the silent deals, the partnerships, and the emerging centers of power. India and China are not asking for permission. They are quietly taking their place on the global stage, and by the time the world notices, their influence will be undeniable. For individuals, businesses, and nations, the lesson is clear. Watch closely, adapt swiftly, and understand that the quiet moves of today will shape the loud headlines of tomorrow. And for those paying attention, this is an opportunity to understand, to align, and to prepare for a new world where influence flows east, where partnerships replace old rivalries, and where execution, not intention, defines power. History is being written not with proclamations, but with actions that are deliberate, subtle, and unstoppable. China and India are quietly changing the rules, and the world is only just beginning to see it. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel.
Ladies and gentlemen, we treat our phones better than our own lives. When the battery hits 10%, we panic. Power bank, low power mode, charger everywhere. But when you hit 10% energy, you say, it's okay, I'll push a little more. That little more is how people burn out for years. 2026 is coming, whether you are ready or not. The world is not slowing down because you are tired. Technology is not waiting for you to catch up. Younger people are learning faster, failing faster, adapting faster. And you're still explaining to yourself why you can't start yet. Let me start with a simple question. When was the last time you actually put yourself first without feeling guilty? Not, I'll rest after this one task. Not, I'll start my dream next year. I mean really first, because most people today don't put themselves first. They put themselves last. After work, after family, after friends, after social media, after replying to people who wouldn't even reply back in a day. And then they wonder why they feel tired, stuck, and secretly angry at life. Elon Musk slept on factory floors while people online called him reckless and crazy. He didn't do it to look heroic. He did it because he put the mission first, not comfort, not approval. While others protected their balance, he protected his future. Let me tell you something uncomfortable but honest. No one is coming to save you. Your boss won't suddenly care about your dreams. Your friends won't stop progressing just because you're stuck. Even your family, as much as they love you, cannot live your life for you. And that's not sad. That's powerful. Because the moment you accept this, you regain control. Look at how many people live their entire lives on later mode. Later, I'll learn that skill. Later, I'll get healthy. Later, I'll take risks. Later, I'll focus on myself. Later becomes never, and never becomes regret. You know what regret sounds like? I had potential. I almost started. I could have been something. Think about this. The people you admire didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for perfect timing. Albert Einstein struggled to find teaching jobs. He was rejected, underestimated, and even told he wasn't smart enough. Imagine hearing that and believing it. But instead of quitting, he kept thinking, learning, and trusting his curiosity. He didn't beg the system to accept him. He became so good the system had no choice. Arnold Schwarzenegger arrived in a new country with a strange accent, no money, and no connections. People laughed at the way he spoke. They said his body was wrong, his name was too long, his dreams were impossible. But he put himself first. He learned. He adapted. He worked when no one was watching. Years later, the same world called him lucky. If you don't build yourself, one day you won't even be able to help the people you're sacrificing for. You can't pour from an empty cup. 2026 is not about working harder. It's about working smarter on yourself. Skills, health, mindset, time. Because the truth is brutal. If you stay the same, the world will outgrow you. So before you think about pleasing everyone else this year, ask yourself one question and be brave enough to answer it honestly. What would my life look like if I finally chose myself without apology? This is where it begins. Be honest. The reason you don't put yourself first isn't deep psychology. It's because you're scared of being the bad guy. You're scared someone will say, "Oh, you've changed." As if that's an insult. Let's be real. You didn't change. You just stopped being available 24/7 like customer support. You reply late once and people panic. You say no one time and suddenly you're different. You focus on yourself and now you're selfish. Funny how nobody complained when you were exhausted. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school team. You know what he didn't do? He didn't say, "Maybe basketball isn't my thing." He didn't cry about haters. He didn't post motivation quotes. He went back to the gym again and again while other kids were outside vibing. Years later, people call it talent. No, it was obsession. Oprah Winfrey got fired and told she wasn't fit for TV. Imagine being told your voice is the problem when your voice is your gift. She could have stayed quiet to make people comfortable. Instead, she chose herself. Now people sit on couches watching her cry and call it therapy. Here's the part that hurts. People-pleasing doesn't make people love you. It makes you convenient. You become the friend everyone calls when they need something. The coworker who can just handle it. The person who's always busy but never progressing. And let's talk about guilt. Fake guilt. The kind where you cancel your own plans to help someone who wouldn't cancel Netflix for you. You say yes, you smile, then you complain alone at night like, "Why does nobody respect me?" Because you trained them not to. Fear of judgment is another joke you keep telling yourself. You're scared of what people will say, but those same people can't even remember what they ate yesterday. They are not watching you. They are watching themselves. Every person who moved ahead disappointed someone. Every single one. Not because they were rude. Because they stopped explaining. So if 2026 is going to be different, here's the rule. Stop trying to be liked by people who don't pay the price for your life. Say no faster. Protect your time harder. Choose yourself without writing an apology letter. And yes, some people will be uncomfortable. That's okay. You're not here to be liked. You're here to become something. And that requires losing the version of you that everyone was comfortable using. Let's get practical now. Because motivation without action is just entertainment. Everyone says they want to put themselves first, but then they check their phone first thing in the morning. Notifications decide their mood. Messages decide their priorities. Other people's emergencies decide their schedule. And somehow, their own life is always later. Let me expose something real. You don't lack time. You leak time. You wake up tired. Scroll for just 5 minutes, and suddenly it's been 30. You watch one video, then another, and call it relaxing. But somehow, you're too busy to work on your future. Funny how that works. Look at your day honestly. Who controls it? You or your phone? The people who move ahead don't have more time. They have fewer distractions and stronger rules. LeBron James didn't wake up thinking, let's see what happens today. His life runs on structure, training, recovery, sleep, discipline. Not because he's obsessed, because he's intentional. Meanwhile, most people run their lives on vibes. Here's a rule you need to hear. If you don't schedule time for yourself, life will schedule distractions for you. Putting yourself first starts with protecting your mornings. Not replying to messages, not scrolling, not consuming chaos before your brain is even awake. Even one focused hour a day changes everything. 1 hour learning, 1 hour building, 1 hour improving a skill. That's 365 hours a year. That's how average people become dangerous. Serena Williams didn't train when she felt motivated. She trained when it was boring, when it was repetitive, when nobody was clapping. That's the part people skip when they say, I want success. Let's talk habits. Boring word, powerful weapon. Your habits are voting for the person you're becoming. Every day you vote. Scroll or study. Sleep late or wake up early. Comfort or progress. No decision feels big in the moment. That's the trap. Skipping one workout feels harmless. Skipping learning today feels fine. Skipping discipline feels normal. Until months pass and nothing has changed, putting yourself first means choosing discomfort now, so you don't live with regret later. And stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is lazy. Discipline shows up even when you don't care. You don't need a perfect routine. You need a non-negotiable one. Pick one skill that actually matters, not 10. 1. Commit to it daily, even when you're tired, especially when you're tired. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't become obsessed because he loved suffering. He loved winning, and he understood the price. Most people love the idea of results. Very few love the process. Another hard truth. If your environment stays the same, you will stay the same. You can't build a focused life in a distracted environment. Unfollow noise. Reduce access. Create friction for bad habits and ease for good ones. And please stop calling yourself busy when you're just distracted. Busy builds. Distracted consumes. Putting yourself first isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily one. Quiet. Repetitive. Unseen. Nobody will applaud you for going to bed on time. Nobody will clap when you say no to nonsense. Nobody will celebrate your discipline. But one day, your results will speak so loud, you won't need to explain anything. And that's when you'll realize choosing yourself wasn't selfish. It was survival. Let's be honest. Most people don't put themselves first because they are busy blaming the world. My boss doesn't appreciate me. My parents didn't support me. The economy is impossible. The timing isn't right. Stop. Just stop. Excuses are the world's favorite way to stay average. They feel safe, comfortable, invisible. But safe is a slow death. Comfortable is a cage. Invisible is lonely. Here's the thing. Taking responsibility is scary. It's easier to say, I can't, than to actually do something about it. Look at Jeff Bezos. No one handed him Amazon. No one handed him success. He started in his garage with a couple of books and made every decision himself. He risked everything, and he didn't wait for the world to be perfect. Look at J.K. Rowling. Rejected by dozens of publishers, a single mother, broke, living in a small flat, and yet she kept writing. She didn't wait for someone to approve her dreams. She chose responsibility for her story. And that's the ugly truth most people avoid. Your life is your responsibility, nobody else's. Money is a huge part of this. And don't roll your eyes. This isn't about greed. It's about freedom. Most people complain about money while doing the same things over and over. Working jobs they hate, spending carelessly, scrolling endlessly. Meanwhile, the people who put themselves first, they understand money differently. They know it's not a reward, it's a tool. A tool to create options, security, and freedom. Look at Warren Buffett. He started small, learned constantly, avoided distractions, and thought in decades, not days. He understood that if you don't control your money, it controls you. Your mindset around money is a mirror for how you treat yourself. Spend without thinking, and you don't value your time. Save without purpose, and you fear risk. Invest in yourself, and suddenly doors appear you didn't even know existed. And yes, this part is uncomfortable. The sooner you stop blaming, stop whining, stop hoping someone else will save you, the sooner you step into real power. Real power is boring to watch. It's discipline over drama. It's saving when you want to spend. It's saying no when everyone else says yes. It's investing in yourself when everyone else is distracting themselves. Here's the deal. In 2026, you can't afford to play small. You can't afford to wait for permission. You can't afford to let excuses steal your life while the world moves on. Now listen carefully, because this is where it all comes together. Putting yourself first isn't just a concept. It's not just inspiration. It's action, repeated every single day. You can't just say, I'll focus on myself and then scroll TikTok for 3 hours. That's a hobby, not a strategy. It starts with tiny decisions, the ones nobody notices but everything depends on. Waking up 30 minutes earlier, choosing learning over gossip, choosing growth over comfort, choosing yourself over excuses. Every day you do these things, you are casting votes for the person you want to become. Every day you skip them, you vote for the version of you that will complain, blame, and watch life happen to others. Let's be honest, most people are addicted to comfort. They hide behind excuses like a blanket on a cold night, safe, warm, but paralyzed. Look at Dwayne Johnson. He wasn't born rock. He was broke, living in a tiny apartment, eating his emotions, and yet he put himself first every day. Gym before fun, work before sleep, discipline before social media. That's why the world calls him unstoppable. The funny thing is, the first step is always uncomfortable. People will think you're weird. Your friends will say you've changed. Your family might roll their eyes. That's good. That means you're moving. That means you're serious. Here's the secret most people miss. Growth never asks for permission. Success never sends an invitation. Freedom never checks if you're ready. It just rewards the person who shows up. Day after day, quietly, relentlessly. And yes, it's tiring. It's frustrating. You'll fail. You'll stumble. You'll want to quit. But that's the only way the world will take you seriously. Not by complaining, not by hoping, not by scrolling endlessly. If you want 2026 to be different, this is your moment. Decide now. Stop letting other people's priorities control your life. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop saying yes to nonsense. Stop blaming, complaining, hoping. Instead, say yes to yourself. Yes to discipline. Yes to learning. Yes to discomfort. Yes to building a life you won't need to explain. Imagine December 31st, 2026. You looking back, knowing you didn't waste another year. Knowing you put yourself first. Knowing you didn't let excuses steal your energy, your skills, your freedom. That feeling, that power is unstoppable. So here's the challenge. Today, right now, choose yourself. Protect your time. Build your skills. Train your mind. Refuse the comfort trap. Decide that 2026 is your year, not because it will magically be easy, but because you will refuse to stay small. The world won't wait, your dreams won't wait, your future won't wait, but you can start today choosing yourself, and when you do, everything else falls into place. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start tonight with a confession we all share, but never admit. Most of the problems in our life don't come from the world, they come from us. Not from fate, not from bad luck, not from other people, but from the 4 things we carry every single day. Our mouth, our mood, our money, and our mind. And if we don't control them, they will control us like a remote. Every day we meet people who are talented, smart, good-hearted, but losing in life because one of these 4 things is driving their car. You've seen it, the friend who can't keep quiet at the wrong time, the colleague who wakes up angry at the whole world, the cousin who earns well but stays broke because sales season is the national excuse. And then there's the person who overthinks everything so much that opportunities come, say hello, get bored, and leave. Think about it. How many problems in your life started because of something you said, something you felt, something you spent, or something you thought? Too many, right? Once you control them, you don't need luck, motivation, or anyone else. You become unstoppable. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Let's be honest, most of our problems start with our mouth. Yes, the same mouth you brush every morning and think is harmless. That mouth has ruined friendships, jobs, relationships, and sometimes even entire weekends. Think about it. How many times have you said something in anger, then immediately thought, oh no, I shouldn't have said that. Maybe it was to your mom, chill, I know what I'm doing. Or to your friend, bro, you always mess things up. Or to your boss, with all due respect, you're wrong. And suddenly life feels like a Netflix drama starring you as the villain. And it's not just small talk. Look at famous examples. Remember Kanye West tweeting in anger? Or when Elon Musk said something impulsive on social media, and suddenly the stock market had a mini heart attack? One sentence can cost millions, fame, trust, and respect. And most of us think, that only happens to celebrities. Nope. It happens to everyone, just with smaller amounts of money, smaller social media explosions, and smaller heartbreaks, but the same feeling of why did I do that? Even normal people do it every day. One wrong reply on WhatsApp, one sarcastic comment to a friend, one passive-aggressive line to your partner, and suddenly you're in Cold War Season 2. You overthink it all night, replay it like a bad movie, and the next day, pretend like everything is fine. Here's the funny truth. Most people think their mouth is loyal. It's not. Your mouth is like that friend who texts, I got your back, and then leaks all your secrets. You can't trust it blindly. Here's a small story that might hit home. I had a friend, great guy, always thinking he's funny. He decides to roast someone on social media, just a little joke. 3 minutes later, the little joke went viral. By evening, his aunt, his boss, and some random stranger from the internet all hated him. His career was safe, but his ego completely roasted. And all he did was use his mouth without thinking. And normal life is no different. One careless sentence at work, suddenly your boss is giving you the look. One careless sentence at home, suddenly your parents are debating your life choices like it's a UN assembly. One careless sentence to your friends, suddenly you're the villain in a story you didn't even know existed. So what's the secret? 3 things. First, pause. Just pause. 3 seconds before you speak. It doesn't sound like much, but 3 seconds can save years of regret. Second, think. Do I need to say this? Seriously, most of the things you feel like saying don't need to be said. Your opinion on your neighbor's haircut, your friend's relationship, your coworker's lunch choice, save it. Third, learn from disasters. Everyone messes up. Everyone says the wrong thing. The difference is the people who succeed apologize, fix it, and don't make it a habit. Remember, your mouth is like fire. It can cook a delicious meal or burn down the entire house. And life will happily hand you matches if you don't learn to control it. Once you master this, suddenly life gets easier. People respect you more, you stop creating problems for yourself. Opportunities stop slipping through your fingers because of stupid words, and you get to focus on bigger things like your mood, your money, and yes, your mind. So, pause, think, and speak carefully. Your mouth is the gatekeeper of your life, and if you don't control it, it will control you. Let's talk about mood. Yes, that invisible thing that wakes you up happy and ruins your entire day in 5 seconds. Have you ever noticed how your mood can turn into a full-blown soap opera? 1 minute you're calm, drinking your coffee like a wise person. Next minute, someone cuts you off in traffic, your phone dies at 2%, your boss emails something passive-aggressive, and suddenly you're plotting revenge like a movie villain. Mood is dangerous because it's invisible. People don't see it coming. They see you yelling at the traffic light, or ignoring your friend, or replying fine when you're anything but. But it doesn't matter what others see. Your mood controls your decisions, your actions, your energy, and even the opportunities that come your way. Let's be real. Everyone has been there. Your mom yells at you in the morning. Suddenly your coffee tastes like betrayal. Your friend cancels plans. Suddenly your entire week feels off. Your favorite series has a cliffhanger. Suddenly life has no meaning. Your colleague smiles at someone else in the office. Suddenly your lunch tastes bitter. And here's the kicker. Your mood doesn't just ruin your day, it ruins other people's day too. Ever been around someone who's angry or grumpy? It spreads faster than gossip. And worse, most people don't even realize they're contagious. Even famous people fall for it. Remember Serena Williams in that Wimbledon final, smashing her racket in frustration. One moment of losing control, and the whole court was watching her rage. Or Tiger Woods in a press conference during a bad season, snapping at a question he shouldn't have. Suddenly your reputation takes a hit. Or Simon Cowell, known for being brutally honest, yelling at contestants when he loses patience. Sometimes it's entertaining. Sometimes it ruins the moment. And normal life? Don't get me started. Traffic, parents, friends, messy rooms, long queues, spam calls, phone notifications. All of these are designed to test your mood, and most of us fail every single day. We let our emotions run wild like kids in a candy store. Here's the funny part. We act like our mood is someone else's problem. Ooh, I was grumpy because life is unfair. No, buddy, life is fair. Your mood is your responsibility. So what do? 3 things. First, pause and breathe. Sounds simple, but most people don't pause. Take 3 deep breaths before reacting. Traffic jam? Breathe. Angry boss? Breathe. Second, flip the story. Instead of thinking, why is this happening to me? Think, how can I handle this without losing my day? Mood is a choice, even if it doesn't feel like it. Third, protect your morning. The first hour of your day sets the tone. Don't scroll through toxic news. Don't read angry messages. Don't argue with anyone before coffee. Guard your mood like a bodyguard. Once you master your mood, life changes. You stop overreacting. You stop giving your power away to traffic, bosses, friends, or random notifications. You make better decisions. You enjoy life more. People enjoy being around you. And suddenly, opportunities start noticing you. Your mood is like the weather inside your life. You can't control the sun outside, but you can control whether you bring an umbrella or a storm cloud. So remember, pause, flip the story, protect your morning, control your mood, and your life stops feeling like a chaotic sitcom. Now let's talk about money. The one thing everyone wants more of, but almost no one controls properly. And yet, we all think we're great at it. Until the next bill comes, or the bank balance shows up, or the sale pops into our Instagram feed. Think about it. How many of us have spent money we didn't have just to look cool, or feel better, or impress someone, only to regret it the next day? Buy one gadget, then another. Order food online at midnight. Subscribe to apps we'll never use. And suddenly, your paycheck disappears faster than your motivation to go to the gym. Even celebrities have done it. Look at Mike Tyson. Yes, Iron Mike made hundreds of millions of dollars, spent millions on houses, cars, clothes, and parties, and went bankrupt. Or MC Hammer. Remember him? Big shoes, big fame, bigger spending, and boom, broke. And you think, that could never happen to me. Yeah, until your phone bill arrives and you're contemplating living on instant noodles for a week, and normal people don't think it's different. We all have that friend who buys coffee every hour, orders food they don't need, and wonders why rent is overdue. Or that cousin who constantly invests in random get-rich-quick schemes, and you checking your bank account after a weekend and thinking, wait, how did this happen? Here's the problem. Most people treat money like it's unlimited. They spend like it grows on trees, and when it's gone, they panic like it's a zombie apocalypse. Money is not just about earning, it's about control. You can make a lot, but if you can't control it, you're broke mentally and emotionally, even if your bank account says otherwise. So what's the secret? 3 things. First, track it. Yes, track every penny. Most people don't know where their money goes because they never check. That subscription, that late night order, that impulsive online shopping spree. Small things add up. Track it, and suddenly you're aware of the tiny leaks that sink the ship. Second, spend intentionally. Every rupee, dollar, or peso should have a purpose. You don't need to impress anyone. You don't need to buy things you don't need. You just need to decide, is this improving my life or just feeding my ego? Third, invest wisely. Even if it's small, start putting aside a portion. Don't wait to become rich before you save. The earlier you start, the easier it gets. Think of it as planting a tree. Your future self will thank you. Once you control your money, life changes. You stop panicking. You stop feeling helpless. You make better choices. You enjoy what you have instead of constantly craving what you don't. And the funny part, people who master their money don't even need to flaunt wealth. They attract opportunities effortlessly. Money is like water. It can nourish your life or flood it and destroy everything. The difference is control. The same amount of money can make someone rich in opportunities or broke in spirit. So remember, track it, spend intentionally, invest wisely, control your money, And suddenly, your life stops running on chaos and starts running on purpose. Now, the last one, your mind. Yes, the thing you sit on, stare at the ceiling, scroll TikTok on, and think is under control. Spoiler alert, it's not. Your mind is the boss of everything. It decides how you feel, how you react, what you do, and what you miss, and yet most of us treat it like a lazy roommate. We let it wander, gossip, panic, replay every mistake, and then we wonder why life feels heavy. Think about it. How many times have you stayed awake overthinking a text, a conversation, or something someone said 5 years ago? Your brain is basically running a full-scale investigation for no reason. And the funny part? It always finds something to stress about. Always. Even famous people aren't immune. Remember J.K. Rowling? Before Harry Potter, she was broke, rejected, depressed, and still doubted herself daily. Or Steve Jobs, fired from his own company, doubted, anxious, almost giving up, but he didn't let his mind control him completely. He learned to channel it. Even someone like Oprah Winfrey, who faced rejection after rejection, abuse and setbacks, kept mastering her mind so she could build an empire. Normal people, we're like this every day. You check your phone once, see a comment, and suddenly your mind starts a full courtroom drama. Did they mean that? Are they angry? Should I reply? What if I lose this friend? And for what? One comment, one tiny event, one small thing. Here's the thing. Your mind is like a wild monkey. It jumps from thought to thought, worry to worry, memory to memory, distraction to distraction. If you don't train it, it will steal your energy, your focus, and your happiness. And life will feel exhausting even when nothing big happens. So how do you control it? 3 things. First, awareness. Notice when your mind is spiraling. Stop the drama. Label it. That's just my monkey mind again. Awareness is the first step to freedom. Second, choose your thoughts. You don't have to believe every thought your brain throws at you. Some are lies, some are fears, some are excuses. You get to decide which ones to act on. Third, focus on what matters. Most people spend hours thinking about things that have zero impact on their lives. Your mind is like a Netflix subscription. Don't binge the nonsense. Pick the shows that actually help you. Build skills. Solve problems. Plan your future. Once you master your mind, everything else gets easier. Your mouth becomes calmer, your mood more stable, your money decisions smarter. Your mind is the control room. Control it, and your life runs like a well-oiled machine instead of a chaotic circus. Remember, your mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy. It can build your life or destroy it. Usually it's doing both at the same time if you don't take charge. So here's the takeaway. Train your mind, question your thoughts, and focus on what actually matters. Control your mind, and suddenly life isn't a struggle anymore. It's an adventure you actually enjoy. So let's recap. Today we talked about 4 things. Your mouth, your mood, your money, and your mind. Small, invisible, but they control your entire life. Your mouth can create problems faster than social media can spread a meme. Your mood can turn a sunny day into a personal disaster movie. Your money, well, if you don't control it, it will disappear faster than your weekend plans. And your mind, it can either be your best friend or the villain of your story. Here's the truth. Life isn't hard. We make it hard. Life isn't unfair. We just give it permission to run us over. But the moment you decide to take control of your words, your reactions, your spending, and your thoughts, everything changes. Opportunities come. People respect you. Stress stops owning you. And suddenly your life starts working like it's supposed to. So start today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Pause before you speak. Take charge of your mood. Be smart with your money and train your mind. Do that, and you don't need luck, motivation, or anyone else to fix your life because you just became your own hero. And remember, life will still throw curveballs. People will still annoy you. Bills will still come. Traffic will still exist. But when you control these 4 things, nothing can shake you. You'll laugh, you'll thrive, and maybe, just maybe, you'll finally stop blaming the world for your problems. So go on, take control, or keep waiting for life to fix itself while scrolling your phone. Your choice. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends.